Barbecue tip number 2, the wood. Of course, you're smoking the meat, so wood is really important. You want to choose your wood very carefully. Only use true hardwood. Things like pine, you can smoke it, but it's a really kind of a soft wood, so it doesn't really last long. And in the end, if you're going to smoke something like a pork shoulder or something bigger for 14 hours at a time, you really want something with some staying power. And so a lot of people for pork tend to use sweeter tasting woods, things like perhaps cherry wood or apple wood, things like that. Even maple will do the trick. A little more expensive, but you can do it. And you kind of want to bring out the flavor of the pork and the smoke and kind of contrast and tie everything together, and it works really well. For something like beef, maybe you want to go for something with a little more kick to it, like a hickory or a mesquite or oak. There's any number of things. I tend to use a mix of woods depending on the time of year and my general mood. So it's all hardwood, but I tend to err on the side of oak with maybe some apple thrown in if I've got it. A lot of hickory and mesquite. I like some really heavy, smoky barbecue, something that's really going to stick with you for a little bit. And so I like some of the stronger woods. But as long as you're using real hardwood, you really can't go wrong. Smoke, it takes a long time to really develop a taste for the different types of smoke you're getting out of these woods. So as long as it's hardwood, you're pretty much fine. The only thing you can never ever do is use any kind of treated wood. So don't use leftover plywood or OSB or any kind of treated wood. You're just asking for trouble, and you don't want those chemicals getting into your food. You can also experiment with throwing whole herbs into the mix as well. I've thrown, you throw a couple of branches off of a rosemary bush directly into the fire. You can wet it down first so it smolders a little bit, and especially if you're doing lamb or something, that smoke and that flavor really kind of pairs well with lamb. It's the traditional pairing, of course. So don't be afraid to experiment. Again, as with rubs, if you end up using wood that you wouldn't necessarily use again, in the end, you still have barbecue. Everybody's still happy. It's a win-win. Give it a shot.